Then he led a kirtana, and that bridged all differences and brought out the best in everyone that night. Several nights before, in his an apartment on Second Avenue, Prabhupada had taught his followers how to dance. They had formed a line behind him while he demonstrated the simple step. Holding his arms above his head, he would first swing his left foot across the right foot and then bring it back again in a sweeping motion. Then he would swing his right foot over the left foot and bring it back again. With his arms upraised, Prabhupada would walk forward, swinging his body from side to side, left foot to right foot to left side, in time with the 1, 2, 3 rhythm. He had shown them the step in regular time and in a slow half-time rhythm. Keith had called it the Swami step, as if it were a new ballroom dance. Prabhupada's followers began dancing, and soon the others joined them, moving around the room in a rhythmic circle of ecstasy, dancing, swaying, sometimes leaping and whirling. It was a joyous hour-long kirtana, the Swami encouraging everyone to the fullest extent. A visitor to the ashrama had happened to have his string bass with him, and he began expertly turning out his own swinging bass improvisations beneath the Swami's melody while another man played the tablas. The Ananda ashram members had been divided of late into two tense standoffish groups. There was the elderly crowd, similar to the old ladies who had attended the Swami uptown lectures, and there was the young crowd, mostly hip couples. But in the kirtana, their rifts were forgotten, as they discovered later, even healed. Whether they liked it or not, almost those all of those present were induced to rise and dance. Then it was late. The Swami took rest in the guest room, and the boys slept outside in their sleeping bags. Howard, I awaken 3 or 4 times, and each time I am flat on my back, looking up at the stars, which are always in different positions. My sense of time is confused. The sidereal shifts dizzy me. Then, just before morning, I dream of devotees clustered around a beautiful golden youth. To see him is to be captivated. His transcendental body radiates an absolute beauty unseen in the world. Stunned, I inquire, who is he? Don't you know? Someone says. That's the Swami. I look carefully but see no resemblance. The youth appears around 18, straight out of Vaikunta, the spiritual world. If that's Swamiji, I wonder to myself, why doesn't he come to earth like that? A voice somewhere inside me answers, people would follow me for my beauty, not for my teachings. And I awake startled. The dream is clear in my mind, more like a vision than a dream. I feel strangely refreshed, bathed in some unknown balm. Again, I see the constellations have shifted, and that the dimmer stars have faded into the encroaching dawn. Remember Swamiji telling me that although most dreams are simply functions of the mind, dreams of the spiritual master are of spiritual significance. Keith also had a dream that night. I saw Krishna and Keith. I saw Krishna and Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna was inquiring from Krishna, and Krishna was reciting the Bhagavad Gita to him. Then the picture phased out, and images changed, and there was Swamiji, and I was kneeling in front of him. The same dialogue was going on. I had the understanding that now is the time, and Swamiji is presenting the same thing as Krishna, and we were all in the position of Krishna. The dream made it very clear that hearing Swamiji was as good as hearing from Krishna. The sun rose over the mountains, streaking the morning sky above the lake with colors. Wally and Keith were walking around the grounds, saying to Prabhupada how beautiful it was. We are not so concerned with beautiful scenery, said Prabhupada. We are concerned with the beautiful one who has made the beautiful scenery. Later, Prabhupada sat next to Bruce in the Volkswagen returning to the city. The car went winding around on a ribbon of smooth black mountain road, with lush green forests around, forest close in, and intermittent vistas of mountains and expanse of sky. It was a rare occasion for Bruce to be driving Prabhupada in the car, because none of the Swami boys had cars. They would always travel by bus or subway. It seemed fitting for the Swami to have a car to ride in, but this was only a little Volkswagen, and Bruce winced whenever they hit a bump, and it jostled Prabhupada. As they wound their way on through the mountains, Bruce recalled something he had read in the book by Aldous Huxley's wife about the best places for meditation. One opinion had been that the best place to meditate was by a large body of water because of the negative ions in the air, and the other opinion was that it was better to meditate in the mountains because you are higher up and closer to God. It is better for a spiritual realization to meditate in the mountains. Is it better for a spiritual realization to meditate in the mountains? Bruce asked. Prabhupada replied, "This is nonsense. There is no question of better balance. Are you thinking that God is up on some planet or something you have to go up to high? No, you can meditate anywhere. Just chant Hare Krishna." After some time, the drive became tiring for Prabhupada, and he dozed, his head resting forward. Bruce walked with Swamiji up to his apartment, opening the door for him, adjusting the window as he liked it, and preparing things in his room as he were Swamiji's personal servant. Prabhupada settled back into his Second Avenue apartment, feeling pleased with the visit to Ananda ashram. The kirtana had been successful, and one of Dr. Mishra's foremost students had commented that he was impressed by Prabhupada's followers. Simply by chanting, they seemed to be achieving an advanced level of yoga discipline, whereas we have more difficulty with our postures and breath control. The United States recently increased involvement in Vietnam and is creating an increase of opposition to the war. On July 29th, American planes had bombed North Vietnam's two major population centers, Hanoi and Haiphong, an escalation which brought expressions of regret from several allied countries, including Canada, France, and Japan. United Nations Secretary General U Thant openly criticized America's policy in Vietnam. Further opposition to the war ranged from the U.S. Senate down to newly formed pacifist groups, and dissenters held peace marches, sit-ins, and rallies in protest of the war and draft. Religious protest was led by Pope Paul VI, and the World Council of Churches decreed America's involvement in Vietnam, called for a halt in the fighting as the most effective step toward negotiation. On August 6th, the anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima, there was a demonstration in many American cities, including a peace vigil at the United Nations headquarters in New York. On August 31st, there would be another 2 week long peace vigil before the United Nations General Assembly building, and Mr. Larry Bogart had invited Prabhupada and his followers to open the vigil of praying for peace. Larry Bogart, who worked in the United Nations headquarters, had become friends with the Swami and had volunteered his help by arranging to print stationery for the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. The letterhead was designed by James Green with a sketch of Radha and Krishna, and Mr. Bogart's name also appeared on the stationery at the head of the list of ISKCON trustees. So, quick summary takeaways. Um, with rifts happening in the ashram, the kirtana, the hour-long kirtana, was able to heal the um, the rift. Um, Swamiji was teaching how to dance with a simple foot sweeping motion, left and right, swaying to the music, and that invigorates everyone. The music One of the young disciples was able to play his bass along with the music as Swamiji danced around and encouraged everyone to join in to their full extent. Um, Most of the time, they were traveling by public transportation, buses, and subways, but it was nice to have Swamiji in his own car. It seemed very fitting. Um, and when he got back to his apartment, he kind of dozed off, and Bruce, I think it was taking on the position of servant, just taking care of some of the basic needs for Sri Prabhupada.